Welcome to the deep dive. So you've sent over some really interesting sources about getting started with English, especially for, career moves and academic goals. It's great you're focusing on this.
It really is a big step. And what we want to do here in this deep dive is sort of sift through all that and pull out the absolute must-do steps for you, things you can start doing like right away to move towards those goals you've got.
Absolutely. Because, let's be honest, starting a language,
Ugh,
well, it can feel huge, right? A bit daunting.
definitely.
But we're aiming to give you a clear map, basically, using the advice you've already gathered.
Okay.
Okay, so let's dive in. The absolute first thing that jumps out from these materials is nailing down your why.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Both sources really hammer this home. It's the foundation. And not just a vague, I want to learn English, but getting specific.
Specific,
Like, is it really about that promotion, collaborating better internationally? Or maybe it's about, understanding university lectures properly, or accessing research papers only available in English.
Right. They actually suggest writing it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Visualizing what success looks like.
Yep.
What difference will better English actually make day to day?
Precisely. And that's not just motivational fluff, it's psychology.
Okay.
Having that clear goal written down even, it acts like your compass. When things get tough, and they probably will at some point, remembering that specific why is what keeps you going. It's your fuel. And for you, wanting structure, this why provides that core structure for everything else.
Okay. So step one, crystal clear why. Makes perfect sense. What's next then? The sources also seem really big on consistency, but maybe not, like massive study sessions.
That's spot on. It's a huge theme. Short, focused, daily practice. That's way more effective for actually remembering things long-term than, say, cramming for hours once a week.
It's like building muscle, maybe.
Yeah.
Little bits often.
Exactly like that. It's a fantastic analogy. Short, regular workouts build strength better than one exhausting session that just leaves you sore and maybe unwilling to go back. It relates to spaced repetition, helping things stick in your brain.
Yeah, I like that. Makes it feel less intimidating.
Yeah.
So practically speaking, how do you make that happen? Life gets busy.
Yeah, the advice is pretty straightforward. Find a slot, even just 15 or 20 minutes, but make it the same slot every day if you can. Treat it like an appointment you can't miss.
Okay.
It respects your time, It's about building a habit you can actually sustain, not about finding huge chunks of free time that probably don't exist.
Right. Sustainable is key. Okay, so we know why, we know how often,
Mm-hmm.
but what do we actually use? There are millions of apps, websites, books. It's kind of overwhelming.
Oh, yeah. The resource overload problem, very common. The advice here is pretty clear. For beginners, focus. Focus on stuff that clearly teaches the basics.
Basics meaning?
Foundational vocabulary, the common words, core grammar, how sentences actually work, and basic pronunciation, getting the sounds right from the start.
So what kind of things should someone look for initially?
Things like beginner textbooks, the ones with a clear structure, language apps, but specifically the ones good for building vocabulary and basic grammar drills.
Okay.
Simple English podcasts, maybe ones made for learners, where they speak clearly, maybe a bit slower, and YouTube channels focused on teaching beginners the real fundamentals.
And the key is not to try and use all of them at once.
Definitely not. Pick maybe 2 or 3 reliable ones to start. Stick with those for a bit. It stops you from feeling completely swamped and giving up before you've even really started. Finding things that suit your learning style helps too. Visual, auditory.
Good point. A curated start.
Okay.
But language learning can feel, well, boring sometimes, like homework. How do you keep it interesting? Avoid burnout.
Ah, yes. This is where linking it to your actual interests comes in. Super important. The sources really stress this. If it feels like a chore, you're just not going to stick with it long term.
Makes sense. Like forcing yourself to read a boring textbook.
Exactly. So the idea is find ways to bring English into things you already like doing.
Like what, for example?
Well, if you love cooking, find simple recipes or cooking videos in English. If you're a big football fan, read match reports or news about your team in English.
Oh, that's clever. So you're learning words you actually care about and might use.
Precisely. It makes it more fun, more relevant. And honestly, things stick better when they're connected to something you're genuinely interested in. It gives context. Which, for you, wanting memorable examples, this is perfect.
Okay, this is shaping up nicely, but what about mistakes? That fear of sounding stupid when you try to speak. That holds a lot of people back.
Huge barrier. Both sources tackle it directly. And the message is really clear. Mistakes aren't just okay, they're like essential. necessary even.
So messing up isn't a sign you're bad at it.
Absolutely not. The sources actually frame them as learning opportunities, golden opportunities, really. A mistake shows you exactly where the gap in your knowledge is. It tells you what to work on next.
That's a much healthier way to look at it.
It is. The core advice is don't let fear stop you from practicing, especially speaking. Every time you try, even if it's not perfect, you're getting closer.
That's really encouraging, actually. Takes the pressure off a bit. Okay, so know your why, be consistent, find good starter resources, make it engaging, embrace mistakes. What else is vital at the start?
Patience. Definitely patience. The sources are very upfront about this. Getting good enough for work or study, it takes time, it takes effort. You have to manage your expectation.
Right. Don't expect to be fluent in a month.
Exactly. It's easy to get down if you don't see massive changes right away. So the advice is, notice the small wins. Celebrate them.
Small wins
Like understanding a phrase you didn't before, or managing a simple conversation, even a very basic one, or finally getting a tricky pronunciation right. Acknowledging those little milestones keeps you motivated. It shows you are making progress, even if it feels slow sometimes. It's an investment, remember, in your future.
Okay, great principles. Now let's get really practical. That second source had some very concrete ideas for weaving this into daily life. What were some of those actionable tips?
Yeah, it broke it down nicely. Like for the morning routine, maybe just 5 or 10 minutes with a simple English news site or app. Focus on headlines, topics you know, easy entry point. Or if you commute, pop on a short, easy English podcast. Something with clear speech, everyday topics.
Nice, bite-sized chunks. What about during the day? Lunch breaks?
Perfect time for those language apps with quick lessons. 10, 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Or watch a short YouTube video explaining a specific grammar point or some vocabulary relevant to your job or studies.
Okay, and evenings? Winding down?
Maybe switch your usual TV show or movie to something simple in English. Use English subtitles first, definitely.
Right.
Focus on listening, matching the sounds to the words.
Right.
Or read just a few pages of an easy English reader or even a kid's book. It reinforces vocabulary and sentence patterns gently before bed.
I like how these fit into the day rather than meeting separate, dedicated study time. What about more active practice?
Good question. The sources suggest things like when you learn a new word in your own language, maybe quickly look up the English version on your phone dictionary.
Oh, smart. Or try mentally making simple English sentences about what you're doing. I am making coffee. This report is due Friday. Little things.
Labeling things around the house, too.
Yes, that's a classic one. Stick labels on the kettle, the microwave, the window, builds everyday vocab.
Those little things add up, I guess. And connecting with people.
Also key, if possible, look for online language exchange partners maybe, or forums for English learners. And if you do have colleagues or classmates who speak English, try using simple phrases.
Even if you make mistakes.
Especially if you make mistakes. Remember, that's part of it. It's expected. It's fine.
Okay. And weekends. Maybe a bit more time then.
Yeah, weekends could be for slightly longer activities. Watch a full movie in English, still maybe with subtitles to start. Read a longer article on a topic you like. Or try writing just a short paragraph in English in a journal about your week or anything.
So wrapping up the daily practice ideas, it's really about keeping it short, fitting it in, mixing it up, making it enjoyable if possible, and just sticking with it. That's the essence of it, yeah. Be patient, be persistent. Building fluency is, it's gradual, like anything worthwhile. But these small, consistent steps integrated into your life, they will get you there towards those career and academic goals.
Okay, so let's just crystallize this for you. Based on these sources, if you're kickstarting English for your career or studies, number one, really dig deep and define your specific why. Write it down.
Crucial.
Number two, commit to consistency. Short daily practice is much better than long, infrequent sessions. Build that habit. 3, find a few good, reliable beginner resources. Don't get overwhelmed by choice. Focus on basics first.
Textbooks, apps, simple podcasts.
Right. 4, make it engaging. Link your learning to hobbies and interests you already have.
Keeps it fun.
5, embrace mistakes. Seriously, they're not failures, they're how you learn. Don't let fear stop you from trying.
Absolutely vital.
6, be patient. Fluency takes time. Celebrate the small victories along the way to stay motivated.
Yes. Track your progress.
And finally, 7, actively weave those small, manageable daily practices into your routine. Morning coffee, commute, lunch break, evening.
Make it part of your life.
Exactly. Taking that first step, just starting, is often the hardest part. But explore those beginner resources. Find even 15 minutes today. You're setting yourself up for success.
You really are. It's an achievable goal when you break it down like this.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Looking at your own daily schedule right now, which one or two of these small practices could you realistically slot in, maybe starting tomorrow? And thinking about your why, what specific English content, maybe a particular website, podcast, or type of video actually excites you? Finding that sweet spot where your goals meet your genuine interests. That's where learning stops feeling like work and starts feeling like, well, an adventure.